Welcome to Lesson 12 in the Learning Designer's Playbook. In this lesson, we're going to explore the 70-20-10 model, a framework that has shaped modern learning and development. The model emphasizes that 70% of learning comes from experiential, on-the-job activities. Another 20% comes from social learning, such as coaching and collaboration. The remaining 10% comes from formal training, such as courses and workshops. This balance shifts the way we design and deliver learning programs. Instead of focusing heavily on courses, the 70-20-10 model encourages us to embed learning into daily work. Today, we'll unpack what the model is, why it works, and how to apply it effectively. We'll cover examples, strategies, and pitfalls to avoid. By the end, you'll have a clear path for integrating this model into your curriculum design process. The objectives of this lesson are designed to guide your application of the 70-20-10 model. First, you will learn to clearly define the model and its three components. We'll explain what each number means and why it matters. Second, you'll learn to apply this model to curriculum design in a practical way. This involves mapping your training objectives to on-the-job experiences, social opportunities, and formal programs. Third, you'll understand how to balance the three components instead of overemphasizing one area. This balance ensures a program that supports both knowledge and application. Fourth, we'll address common misinterpretations of the model. For example, it is not meant to be an exact prescription or rigid formula. Instead, it is a guideline to shape your strategy. Finally, we'll focus on translating this theory into measurable performance outcomes. That means your programs will not only transfer knowledge, but also change behavior and results. By the end of this lesson, you will have the confidence to design with the 70-20-10 model as a framework. Before we dive deeper into the 70-20-10 model, let's briefly revisit Lesson 11. In that lesson, we learned how to create a structured training curriculum. We started with aligning training objectives to organizational and learner needs. Objectives serve as the foundation for every design decision. Next, we discussed sequencing lessons in a logical order. Proper sequencing ensures that learners build knowledge step by step without gaps or confusion. We also emphasize the importance of integrating assessments throughout the curriculum. Assessments confirm that learning objectives are met and guide instructional adjustments. Lesson 11 showed that effective curriculum design connects goals, instruction, and evaluation. This context is important because the 70-20-10 model builds on these principles. By incorporating experiential, social, and formal learning into a curriculum, you extend what you learned in Lesson 11. This recap ensures you are ready to connect those design foundations with today's framework. The 70-20-10 model is a framework for understanding how adults learn. It suggests that about 70% of learning occurs through on-the-job experiences. This includes problem solving, practice, and real-world application. Another 20% of learning comes from social interactions. Examples include coaching, feedback, and collaboration with peers. The final 10% comes from formal training. This includes workshops, courses, and structured e-learning. The model does not mean you must measure learning in exact percentages. Instead, it emphasizes a balance that reflects how people naturally learn. Formal training has value but should not stand alone. Social and experiential opportunities bring knowledge to life. The 70-20-10 model helps designers create programs that mirror the way adults develop skills in real-work environments. The 70-20-10 model works because it is grounded in research and real-world practice. Studies show that adults retain knowledge more effectively when they apply it immediately in their work. Most learning actually occurs on the job, where employees can practice, experiment, and solve real problems. Experiential learning allows knowledge to be tested and reinforced in authentic contexts. Social interactions with peers, mentors, and managers provide feedback, coaching, and accountability that accelerates growth. Formal training, while smaller in proportion, provides a necessary foundation of structured knowledge. This balance ensures that learning does not stop with a classroom session or a course. Instead, it continues seamlessly in the daily flow of work. The model shifts the focus from training events to measurable performance outcomes, aligning learning investments with organizational goals. On-the-job experiences allow immediate application and reinforcement of skills. Peer learning fosters collaboration and breaks down silos, encouraging knowledge sharing and mentoring. Structured courses supplement these experiences with frameworks and concepts that may not emerge naturally in daily work. Integrating these three elements, experience, social interaction, and formal learning, leads to higher retention of knowledge and behaviors. Employees become more self-directed and accountable for their growth. Engagement improves when learning is relevant, practical, and immediately useful. Managers can track performance improvements linked directly to real activities. Organizations benefit from increased productivity, agility, and adaptability. The model resonates with how adults naturally develop competence and expertise. Overall, 70-20-10 connects theory, practice, and community into one powerful, actionable framework for continuous development and performance improvement. The largest portion of the 70-20-10 model is experiential learning. This is learning that happens through direct, on-the-job experience. Examples include stretch assignments, where employees take on tasks outside their comfort zones. It can also involve problem solving in real time, such as troubleshooting issues for customers or managing projects. Real-world practice reinforces knowledge because it is applied in context. Unlike simulations, these experiences carry real consequences, which make them more memorable. Experiential learning also develops problem solving and decision-making skills. For many employees, this is the most powerful way to learn. It requires opportunities that are challenging but achievable. Leaders and managers play an important role in providing these assignments. Without workplace opportunities, employees may never fully develop their potential. The 70 emphasizes that training programs should extend into actual work environments. This ensures learners can apply what they know and gain confidence. Let's look at some practical examples of the 70. One method is job rotation, where employees temporarily move into different roles. This exposes them to new perspectives and challenges. Another example is leading a project. By managing timelines, tasks, and people, learners develop leadership and organizational skills. Handling real customers is also a powerful form of learning. Direct customer feedback forces learners to adapt, listen, and solve problems quickly. Using new tools or technologies is another common experiential activity. Learners build competence by using these tools in real-work situations. Finally, problem-solving tasks, such as addressing workflow issues, push employees to think critically. Each of these examples shows that the 70 is not abstract. It happens in daily work. The key is to design opportunities that encourage stretch and reflection. This ensures that learning becomes part of the job itself. The next component of the model is social learning. This accounts for about 20% of overall learning. Social learning happens when people learn through interactions with others. Coaching and mentoring are two powerful methods in this category. In coaching, managers or experts provide guidance and ask reflective questions. Mentoring adds long-term support and career advice. Peer feedback is another critical form of social learning. It gives learners perspectives from colleagues who share similar challenges. Collaboration, such as team projects, fosters shared problem-solving and knowledge exchange. Social learning accelerates growth because it combines knowledge with human connection. It is especially effective when paired with on-the-job assignments. The 20 reminds us that learning is not isolated. It happens within relationships. Designing programs that encourage coaching, feedback, and collaboration makes learning sustainable. Examples of the 20 include a range of collaborative activities. Peer coaching circles are small groups where employees coach one another. These circles create trust and accountability. Group projects encourage team-based problem solving. By working together, learners see how others approach challenges. Communities of practice are another effective method. These are ongoing groups where professionals share insights and best practices. Shadowing colleagues gives learners firsthand exposure to new roles or tasks. This is especially valuable for preparing someone for advancement. Feedback sessions, both formal and informal, also belong in the 20. They allow employees to learn from constructive critique and recognition. Each of these examples shows that social learning is highly interactive. The strength of the 20 lies in connecting people and fostering shared growth. When combined with the 70, social learning amplifies real-world experience. The final component of the model is formal learning. This accounts for about 10% of overall development. Formal learning includes courses, workshops, and structured programs. It can be delivered in person, online, or in blended formats. Structured e-learning is especially common in digital workplaces. Certifications are another example, providing proof of mastery in a subject. Formal learning provides the foundational knowledge that supports on-the-job and social learning. Without it, learners may lack the baseline skills they need to succeed. However, the model reminds us that formal training alone is not enough. It should be used strategically to launch or reinforce other learning. Well-designed courses provide frameworks, tools, and theory. These are then tested and expanded in the workplace. Formal learning ensures consistency and quality across learners. In balance with the 70 and the 20, it completes the learning ecosystem. Formal learning is often the most visible part of development programs. Let's review some concrete examples of the 10. Instructor-led training remains common for building foundational skills. These sessions can be highly interactive if designed well. E-learning modules provide flexibility and scalability. They allow employees to learn at their own pace. Professional certifications validate knowledge and skills in specific domains. They also provide motivation by giving learners credentials that add to their careers. Webinars and seminars offer accessible formats for large groups. These can include guest speakers, panels, or live Q&A. Compliance training is another frequent example of formal learning. It ensures employees understand laws, regulations, and organizational standards. Each of these examples plays an important role, but they are only part of the puzzle. Formal learning should be integrated with experiential and social opportunities for maximum impact. The power of the 70-20-10 model lies in integration. Each element, experiential, social, and formal learning, supports the others. A blended approach creates a complete learning journey. For example, a course may introduce a new skill. On-the-job assignments then allow employees to practice that skill. Social learning ensures feedback and coaching to refine performance. Reinforcement across these layers increases retention and transfer of knowledge. Integration also ensures programs remain relevant to organizational goals. The 70 provides context and application. The 20 adds guidance and shared learning. The 10 ensures structured knowledge and consistency. Together, they create a balanced system that accelerates development. Without integration, training risks becoming fragmented. Programs that weave together 70 to 2010 deliver lasting behavior change and results. The 70-20-10 model brings several benefits to organizations. First, it drives improved performance by emphasizing real-world application. Employees learn directly in the context of their work. This makes development highly relevant. Second, it increases engagement. Learners feel ownership when they gain opportunities to practice and collaborate. Third, it supports scalable learning. Programs don't rely solely on costly courses, but leverage workplace and peer opportunities. This makes growth accessible to more people. Fourth, the model creates sustainable impact. Skills are reinforced through multiple channels, not just a single training session. This ensures longer-term retention. The balance of the 70, 20, and 10 also accommodates different learning styles. It helps organizations remain agile in a changing environment. Overall, the model aligns learning with performance and business needs. That's why it remains one of the most influential frameworks in the field. Although the 70-20-10 model is widely used, misconceptions are common. One misconception is that it is a strict formula. In reality, the percentages are guidelines, not rigid rules. Another misconception is that formal learning is unimportant. Some assume that 10 can be eliminated. However, formal learning provides essential foundation and structure. A third misconception is that the model happens automatically. In fact, it requires thoughtful design and integration. Without structure, experiential and social opportunities may not happen consistently. Another myth is that the model only works in certain industries. In truth, it is adaptable across contexts. Some also mistakenly believe that coaching and mentoring are too time-consuming. With the right design, they can be scalable and efficient. Addressing these misconceptions helps organizations apply the model effectively. The goal is balance, not rigid percentages. Let's look at a case study of applying the 70-20-10 model. An organization redesigned its onboarding program using this framework. Instead of focusing only on classroom sessions, they emphasized experiential practice. New employees spent 70% of their time shadowing experienced staff and handling tasks early. For the 20%, they participated in peer circles and coaching sessions. This provided immediate feedback and support. The remaining 10% was structured as short e-learning modules and compliance courses. The program ensured knowledge transfer, mentorship, and practice. Within 6 months, performance improved significantly. New hires reported feeling confident more quickly. Managers noticed faster integration into teams. Retention rates also increased. The case study shows that blending all three parts of the model produces measurable results. It also demonstrates that 70-20-10 is not theory alone. It drives real-world outcomes. Our featured resource for this lesson is 71-20-10 towards 100% performance. This book was written by Jos Arets, Charles Jennings, and Vivian Heijnen. These authors are leading practitioners who popularized the 70-20-10 framework. The book explains how to move beyond training and embed learning in the flow of work. It provides detailed strategies for applying the model in different organizations. Practical examples show how to integrate the 70-20 and 10 for maximum performance. The authors emphasize shifting from formal programs to workplace learning. They also provide tools for measuring impact. The book challenges outdated approaches to training. It encourages L&D professionals to rethink how they design solutions. By using this resource, you can deepen your understanding of 70-20-10. It also offers credibility as the authors are recognized experts. The resource is highly actionable and grounded in real practice. Pairing this book with your training needs, analysis will ensure your programs are strategic and impactful. Before closing, let's recap the key principles from this lesson. The 70-20-10 model emphasizes balance across three types of learning. 70% comes from real-world experience on the job. 20% comes from social interaction, such as coaching and collaboration. 10% comes from formal learning like courses and certifications. Each element plays a unique role. Experiential learning provides context and practice. Social learning adds feedback and shared insights. Formal learning provides structure and consistency. Integration is essential for success. The model is not a rigid formula, but a guideline. Misconceptions often arise when organizations treat it too literally. Programs work best when all three parts complement one another. Together, they drive engagement, retention, and performance. That's the true value of the 70-20-10 approach. To deepen your learning, let's reflect with a few questions. How does the 70-20-10 model currently show up in your workplace? Some organizations may already emphasize experiential learning. Others may rely heavily on formal training. Think about where your organization falls on this spectrum. Where can you add more balance? If formal courses dominate, consider building in peer learning or mentoring. If social learning is weak, create feedback sessions or coaching programs. Another reflection question is which part of the model is underused. Identifying gaps will help you prioritize actions. Reflection is important because it turns awareness into action. These questions can guide both personal growth and organizational design. Take a few minutes to jot down answers. You can also discuss them with colleagues or mentors. Reflection ensures the 70-20-10 model becomes more than just a concept. It becomes a tool for change. As we conclude Lesson 12, let's talk about next steps. Start by considering how you can apply the 70-20-10 model in your own organization. Identify opportunities for experiential learning within your workplace. Look for ways to build social learning through coaching or communities of practice. Use formal training strategically to provide foundations and consistency. Remember that integration is the key. Don't treat the model as a rigid formula. Instead, use it as a flexible guide. Begin small by blending one course with on-the-job assignments, then scale as you gain results. In our next lesson, Lesson 13, We'll focus on creating a culture of learning in your organization. This will build on the 70-20-10 framework by embedding learning into daily life. A culture of learning ensures long-term sustainability. As you move forward, continue building your skills as a designer. Apply theory in practical ways. That's how you create lasting impact. Thank you for joining Lesson 12.